Hello everyone, my name is Pacha and welcome to this little overview video about the upcoming update 1.13, which will release on the 4th of April alongside the new Tropical Scenery DLC. Thanks to Frontier, big thank you I should say, I got early access to both the update as well as the DLC to show you guys what both of them contain and to maybe give you an overview to if you should buy it or if you should buy it, and if it's worth it to buy the DLC. This video will only be me concentrating on the update, so update 1.13, all the changes, all the new things that got added, and there will also be another video on my channel, and roughly around the same time it should already be uploaded, covering all the new stuff from the Tropical DLC, all the pieces and animals. So if you also want to have an overview over that, maybe consider also watching that video. In this video, as I said, we will only go over the new update stuff, the new pieces that got added for free, the new changes to the social system, the new null path, as well as the new ways to for your animals to brachiate on the existing pieces. So, without further ado, let's jump into the new things that got added with the update. One of the new big things that got added with 1.13, which wasn't even announced in the initial update announcement, was the new additions for your animals to brachiate on different pieces without just using the standard one that we got when we got the Siamangs in the Conservation DLC. You maybe have already seen it in the trailer, that the new Lar Gibbon can brachiate on these big vines that we got with the base game. Now, this isn't the only piece they can now brachiate on. As you can already see here on my little testing playground, and also with these signs that I added, these pieces can all be brachiated on with the new update 1.13. Of course, you have the standard brachiation bars that got added with, as I said, with the Conservation DLC. You got, of course, the vines, which we already saw on the trailer, both the small one and the long one. But your Siamangs and Lar Gibbons can also brachiate on the thin wood pieces that we find in the Habitat tab, as well as on the rope pieces that you find in the construction pack. I couldn't see them brachiate on the thick wood pieces here, so maybe they can't do that on these, I'm not sure. But at least on all of these pieces now, they can, as you can see in the background, they can brachiate. This goes for the Lar Gibbon as well as for the Siamang. Sadly, I couldn't see or confirm that that the orangutans can brachiate on these pieces. I tested around a little bit with them. I had them in here, activated speed, a little bit of 3 times speed, and saw if they would do it, but sadly they didn't show any brachiation. So it seems brachiation is still only exclusive for Siamangs and Lar Gibbons, but at least we can now have different pieces and different things for them to brachiate on. The next thing we want to talk about is the new inclusion of null paths. Now, from some of you, this might sound like we got a new path, like something like a totally invisible path in the path option, which isn't the case. There is no new path, there's only basically an option for the old natural paths that we got since the base game, so these paths where you can put on the ground to paint the ground below. We always had these horrendous sticks and wooden beams sticking out on this natural path to show where the path is. This now got changed. If you now go over and go into your options menu and you deactivate curbs on ground path, you can now turn these paths totally invisible. This white outline is only there to show you where the path is if you are on the path menu. If you go out, the path is totally invisible. Your guests and your staff can still walk in it like normal. You don't just see the path. You can also go in and say, okay, I want to have it look especially really like the ground, and you can just go in and do that. And there is a path here, but you can't see it. You also will see the path, I think, when you're in the barrier menu, so you know where your path is. But this is already a huge improvement for the pathing system. As you already see, this doesn't work if you go higher. So if you have an elevated path, you can't make it null. Elevated paths still have a texture, still have a curve to it, so there's no option to also make invisible elevated paths. Sadly, yet I know the developers are aware of that and they look into that if that would be possible in the future, but for now we are only bound to the ground paths with that, but I think this is already a huge improvement to the path system. The next thing is the the improvement or the advanced improvements to the advanced building building tool. If you already knew in the past, when we got into the building tool by pressing X, we had these 3 arrows here that we could then move the piece into these directions. Now, as you can see, we have some more stuff going on. We have these little tween square cubes or what you want to call it. And if we click on one of them, we can now move the piece in these, so up and right in these directions, also left and up and down, left and right. We can now move in these. The same goes for here, and the same also goes for here. So now we cannot go down, we can only stay to forth and back, left and right in all directions. It can be a little bit tricky to get into that, especially when you accidentally click on one of these little cubes, but you wanted to click on the big arrow. So I accidentally sometimes moved a piece in a direction I didn't want to. But with a little bit of practice, you can get into that. And it is really cool to have that now, so you can make your builds even better. You have more control over the movement of your piece, and you don't have to switch between all of these different arrows all the time. You can just go in here and say, okay, I want to move it like that. So really cool improvement to the building system here. The next big thing that got added or changed, I think added in the update 1.13 was an update to the social tab, the socials tab. So you now see which members, how the relationship between your animals is in a group. You can also now see that in the Planetopedia. You see here now gregarious, all mature offspring are tolerated in the group. So if the artwork gets babies and they grow up, they are tolerated in the group and can stay in here. For example, the African buffalo has a maternal maturation rules. Mature males related to the alpha become outsiders. So if your animal gets pregnant and gets babies and they are male and they grow up, as soon as they mature, they will be considered outsiders, which means your animals most likely will fight them or just ignore them, meaning they will not interact with them on a social level. They will not have offspring with them. They will just be treated as not belonging to the group, which means in that case you have to get them out of their habitat, otherwise they might get attacked over time. Animals can also bond with each other, which hasn't happened here because they are very new in this enclosure. So certain animals within a group can become closer together, which I think means they will interact with each other more often than with the other members of the group, which is really nice. It's a nice little feature, especially for franchise, to see how your animals interact with each other, to also maybe prevent inbreeding or fights within your group because you didn't really paid attention to them. So it's nice to have. It's a nice little feature that maybe also adds a little bit of realism. The next thing we want to talk about is something that is a huge improvement to the overall building system in Planet Zoo. If you namely now click on any climbing piece or plant in the game that can be climbed on, you now find this new option over here that let you disable climbing on that piece. If you turn it on, if it's green, the animals can climb on it. If it's turned off, red, so they can't climb on it, which is amazing. You can also do it on any, as I said, on any piece, for example this rope piece. And if you now go in and select an animal, you will see that it now shows black in the traversable area overview heat map. So this means black means the animal can't climb on that piece. If it's green, they can climb as usual. Black, no, they can't. this not only applies to individual pieces, you can also apply it to the whole building group. So if you have any pieces in the building group that can be climbed on, you can now go in and turn it off. As you already saw a moment before, when I turn a singular piece on or off, it shows this free part slider, which means partially enabled. So some pieces can be climbed on, some not. You can also, of course, also disable it for all or enable it for all. This is really an amazing improvement for the climbing system overall and also for animals. So if you're building now, let's say a fence made out of wood for your ape enclosure, you can make sure they can't escape via that fence by climbing on it or by glitching through the barrier via the climbing piece. You can now make sure your animals can't escape. You can also now create areas where they should not be climbed on, that are only for show. So a huge improvement to the overall movement system as well as the building system for this game. The last thing we want to talk about are the free pieces that you got, the free items that you got when installing the DLC. There are a couple of construction pieces and a lot of plant pieces that you get for free. When it comes to construction pieces, we now get the wheels for the bicycle as well for the wagon as standalone pieces, so you can create your own food carts, your own cars, or any transport vehicle you want to build. You can create them now with these amazing wheel items. We also get a set of new candles, a thin one as well as a large one, which is a weird trend they started back, I think, in the Twilight Pack, where they gave us this little candle, the small candle, for free in the update without any reason. We also now have a set, these two other ones. Then we got a set of rope pieces, a small one and a large one, which can be recolored, but as you can see, they are not climbable. I don't know why, but it's nice to have them as maybe for decoration purposes, for detailing. We have these ropes now, so it's nice to have, and it's nice that we can recolor them, so it's cool. The only new tree that we get with the update 1.13 is the Cecropia tree sapling. So finally another sapling that we now have in the game. Before we had a range of other saplings from other tree species, now we get also one for Cecropia. The Cecropia, of course, was a tree that was added with the South America DLC. Sadly, that's the only tree that we get with the update, but it's nice to have. Then we get this amazing Kentia palm in 4 different sizes. Really amazing. We can make some awesome ferns with it. We can make some awesome tropical background, lush vegetation with that. It's nice to get them, and it's also nice to get them for free. They look really good and they're very detailed, very nice, very nicely sized. We also get a small one, a big one, so really cool to have. Then we get this whole array of different vines, liana, I think they're called, tangled liana. All of them are climbable, as you can see over here, so you can disable it and enable it. A lot of like these tropical temple liana that you see maybe in Southeast Asia, growing over ruins and everything. We get these now as pieces, so you can create some awesome climbing options, some climbing structures with these liana. And last but not least, we get new leaf litter. We already got leaf litter with the Twilight Pack, which was this autumn orangey red leaf litter here. Now we get this other options, which is sadly not recolorable. I know a lot of people hoped for it, me included, that it would be recolorable, so it could be used in more different ways. It isn't, sadly, but it's still an improvement over the autumn leaf litter, which was very European, North American themed and very only usable for a couple of trees in the game that are orange on default. Now we have this more general color of green and brown, which can be used for multiple of different trees, also in tropical environments where we'll have a lot of leaves on the ground. As I said, certainly not recolorable, would be nice. Maybe in the future we get a recolorable set of these pieces. They are the exact same shape as the ones from the autumn, but it's nice to have and cool that we get it. So this was everything that there is to know in the new update 1.13. Again, coming to you tomorrow on the 4th of April alongside the Tropical Scenery DLC. If you liked it, maybe consider giving this video a like, and if you haven't already, maybe also consider subscribing to the channel. And I hope I see you in the next video, which will be most likely releasing tomorrow with a special build celebrating the release of the Tropical DLC. So look forward to that, and I hope I see you until then. Have a great time, stay safe, and bye bye everyone.